Hello everyone! Welcome back to another 2v2 battle. This is no real theme to this one today. Sorry if anyone's expecting one, but I'm still trying to just get a handle on the vampire counts as a whole. I don't play them that often. I haven't really got a build down that I like a lot, so I'm just trying different things out. My army this time is going to be led by 4 units of zombies to soak up crossbow or handgunner fire because we are facing off against 2 Empire players. They are backed up by 3 Grave Guard, just normal Grave Guard. We have 2 Crypt Horrors. I have 1 Crypt Ghoul because I had 500 gold left over, and I was like, let's try a Crypt Ghoul. They have a poison attack. Maybe they'll work out. I also have a Flying Vargeist, 2 groups of Fell Bats, 3 groups of the basic Black Knights, which are only 700 in cost, so I don't think they're too terrible. We'll probably run over their stats after the battle. And then I'm leading them with a White King here on a Barded Steed. My leader for the battle is a Necromancer on a Steed. Now, the Necromancer can also mount on a Hell Steed, I think they're called, which is this little flying creature that this little vampire lady is currently on. But in a battle against 2 Empire players, you're bound to fight against at least 1 Karl Franz mounted on his Griffin, because he's a really solid unit. It's understandable why a lot of people bring him. So if you have your basic Necromancer in the air, he's going to be kind of fodder for Karl Franz, potentially if the enemy player wants to kill your Necromancer. The only way to run away from Karl Franz if your Necromancer's on a flying mount is to give them into, put them into melee, which is not what they want either. So if you're facing off against Empire players and you only bring a basic Necromancer as leader, I'm going to say at best just put him on a horse, so at least that he's faster. But yeah, that is my army. My allies' army is led by a bunch of Forsaken in the front. We have an Exalted Hero here mounted on a Manticore, I think they're called. And then we have a Fire Chaos Sorcerer on this Manticore over here. They have a Black Knight with lances back here. We have Chosen with great weapons, a Chaos Spawn, and a group of Dragon Ogres. I don't really see Dragon Ogres too often. But leading a army with Forsaken, which are damage dealers, but they have no shields to absorb like handgunner or cannon or crossbow fire, is a very there's some courage to this player, or maybe they just didn't think about it. But if you run against the gun line, those Forsaken are going to get chewed up. But anyway, our opponents, we have Pistoliers, an Outrider, some Swordsmen, a line of Spearmen, a Luminarch of Hish, a Steam Tank, multiple handgunners. I think this player has 2 handgunners, halberdiers back here, 2 witch hunters, and Balthazar Gelt unmounted. A lot of money spent on the Luminarch of Hish, the steam cannon, and all of these heroes over here. 2 witch hunters. I'm assuming this player wants to snipe the heroes with the accusation of the witch hunters. That's why they brought 2 of them. And then Balthazar Gelt is a solid choice for a caster. He's Lore of Metal. He's pretty nice. My opponent brought 3 groups of Demigryph Knights with halberds. 3 of them. We also have another Outrider unit over here. They have 4 handgunners, just basic spears. I think only just basic spears. Yeah, no shields back here. We have a Light Wizard mounted on a Pegasus, and then again, Karl Franz. 3 units of Demigryph Knights with halberds. And let me tell you why I brought a vampire in this army. Now, people usually use vampires and Manfred von Karstein to snipe enemy leaders. No. Against the Empire player, I use the vampire's Fate of Bajuna spell, which is like the Spirit Leech, but for an entire unit. I bring the vampire to counter Demigryph Knights with halberds. So that's the whole reason I even brought her. Not to snipe heroes, but to snipe halberds. Again, we're playing against 2 Empire players. You're going to fight Demigryph units with halberds. It's going to happen. But anyway, let's push play here, now that we've talked over all that. So I send my bats off first. They're over here. Originally, I was just scouting to see if there's anybody hiding in the trees, but now I want them to be in a position just to strike out when necessary. I don't want to send them immediately into these lines because that would be bad. Now, the Light Wizard on a Pegasus is a really solid unit because the magic missile that they have becomes a lot more viable because you can just cast it below you. Also, the magic missile is very powerful just in general. And again, the Light Wizard also has some other cool spells. But I went over that in our last video. Here goes the magic missile. Probably against a hero, I'd imagine. Yep. Does it hit? No, it gets intercepted by the trees. But that's another... Oh, that took some damage. That's another reason why you see those Light Wizards is to snipe heroes. It's kind of like the vampires, but for the Empire. Luminarch Hish going off, getting a hit, but not really doing too much there. And Dragon Ogre's just going right into it, into a spear line. I'm probably going to show this battle off twice, because it's pretty quick. So I'll focus on my ally for this one. Forsaken getting into the spear line. The handgunners did not really get much of a chance to shoot at the Forsaken coming in. Neither did the steam tank. So these Forsaken are just going to chew these 4 spearmen alive. Nice Luminarch of Fish. This is from the Chaos Sorcerer. We got the Flaming Skull going down. Pistoliers running away. Give you a bird's eye view to see what's going on right now. The Spearman line has basically already crumbled, except for over here, where there's also reinforced by Halberdiers against these Dragon Ogres. We also have some more Chosen with great weapons coming in. But yeah, the poor Spearman line just crumbled against Forsaken, and that's going to happen. Forsaken are damage dealers and will melt spears. Getting a rear charge with the Chaos Spawn there. Again, they are unbreakable. Just like the Steam Tank, which is currently fighting one-on-one against his Exalted Hero. Luminarch is trying to get out of there because they are under attack by these Forsaken. Demigryph Knights from my opponent is coming over here to help their ally, which is a good call. Because the ally was kind of getting crushed here a little bit. Dragon Ogres in the fight against the Halberdiers and the Spearmen. Not a fight they're probably going to win, as you can see here. I probably would have pulled them out, but, you know, in the heat of battle, you don't micro everything sometimes. And so this unit of Dragon Ogres gets wiped out. But the rest of this Empire player's forces got pretty much destroyed. Although over here, the Chaos Exalted Hero going up against this Witch Hunter looks like it's going to lose this fight. We have a fireball from their Fire Wizards shooting down at the other, actually at Balthazar Geld, it looks like. And that Exalted Hero has to get out of the battle. Demigryph Knights doing what they do best, killing everything. Chaos Sorcerer charging Balthazar Geld. Now the Sorcerer is not the best melee combatant, but on the Hellsteed, he is better. And against an unmounted Balthazar Geld, I think this is a solid choice. As you can see, Balthazar is just getting pelted over here. The Demigryph Knights are really what's kind of keeping it alive for the opponent on this side. And the Steam Tank, which is unbreakable. Ooh! Beautiful spell. That was a good fireball. Witch Hunter over here trying to bring down the Chaos Sorcerer. We have some spears and halberds coming back. Luminarch and Hish preparing to fire. Fire! That was a lot of damage, actually. Nice shot. Here finally come the Chosen with the great weapons coming in. Chosen with great weapons, probably going to win against spears. Chosen are pretty powerful. Really expensive, too. I think they're 1,500. Chaos Spawn, I think, is a very solid unit. I love playing with them as the Warriors of Chaos. Again, this Steam Tank is not going to break. And it's a very durable unit. Let's see, where are the heroes right now? We have a Witch Hunter still. We do have this Witch Hunter over here who got taken out by the Chosen. The 2 remaining Dragon Ogres are back. I think the Chaos Sorcerer at this point is dead. And the Exalted Hero is gone? Still retreating or something?
Don't let the zombies bite!
You're not even fighting against zombies! So again, like, even these halberds, they're slightly better than the spears, but they're not going to win in a one-on-one fight against the Chosen. And now we have backup from the Dragon Ogres and the Chaos Knights with lances coming in. Steam Tank holding on as long as it can. Luminarch is still kind of out here. We do have some Pistoliers doing some damage, but they're very weak against armor, which is all the Chaos player really has over here. So the Pistoliers not really going to do too much against most of the Chaos forces. Maybe the Dragon Ogres, though. But it doesn't look like they're firing at them. We still have one Witch Hunter holding back the forces of Chaos with the Steam Tank. Luminarch Ish going into melee, I guess, because I don't know, why not? Rest of the forces being chased off by the Dragon Ogres and the Chaos Knights with lances. Chosen and Forsaken. Be a long fight, but they will probably win against Steam Tank one-on-one. And again, I'll show you my side of the battle here after this. Nice! That was from the Chaos Sorcerer, right? Okay, so you're back. Alright. They must have just ran away and now they're back. Casting fireballs. Withdrawing the Steam Tank. Getting some shots off with the top turret. I do like how it has a top turret that just fires. It's pretty cool. And there we go. Although this... It's odd that the game ends with the steam tank still around because it's unbreakable. Maybe just the player left the game so it considered it over? Because even if everything else routes, an unbreakable unit should continue to fight. Interesting. So we did get a Pyrrhic victory there. Or Pyrrhic. Let's load this up again and we'll watch my side of the fight. Because this is a short fight, so I thought it best just to show both sides. We'll start out fast forwarding a little bit. So the front line here of 4 handgunners, people really rely on handgunners, I think, a little too much. They're mostly going to just be shooting my zombies as they come in, and I think crossbows would have been a lot better choice here. There goes that light wizard again to shoot his, I forget what it's called, Fim's magic missile or something. Speed up some more. My ally got the battle off started definitely before me, but I do kind of have to wait for my zombies. They're kind of a crucial thing. So here is where I send my vampire lady. Unfortunately, I got her stuck in a range of the handgunners. But she's coming over here to shoot, or to do the Fate of Buna on these Demigryph Knights. My opponent knows this, I'm pretty sure, which is why they're fleeing their Demigryph Knights. But we are still in range. And let's see how much damage the Fate of Buna spell does. Oh yeah, and here comes the Light Wizard to snipe my vampire. I knew that this was going to happen because this is what you use Light Wizards for that are flying like this. So I go into the trees to try and block the magic missile. Look at that Fate of Buna just going crazy. And it works. It hits a tree. There you go. Most of their health is gone. They still have all their units alive, but now, like, my units have a chance at actually killing them. And I want to try and silence this Light Wizard, so I send one of my bats over there to just engage them in melee in the air. You see the handgunners going off and shooting my zombies, which I don't care about. The zombies are throwaway units. They're there just to bog enemies down and get shot, just like what's going on here. And there go my bats. I need to catch this Light Wizard so that he can't cast spells. Can't remember when I'm using them. I think I'm keeping them in place to strike at the handgunners when they get in range. Karl Franz is now going after my vampire lady, and I do not want that fight right now, so I'm trying to run away, because I want to just use her against these Demigryph Knights, which we're about to get another Fate of Buna off on this group here. As my army still slowly kind of approaches the Empire player. Now, Fate of Buna, I don't think is a really fair spell. Neither do I think Spirit Leech is a fair spell. But I don't think Demigryph Knights with halberds are that fair either. They're kind of overpowered like my spells are. So I think these kind of cancel each other out. My Vargeist now going in. They were given an attack order against these handgunners. These bats that were fighting against the Light Wizard are slowly losing. And the other group of bats I sent over here to try to tie Karl Franz down, because I didn't want him getting into our vampire lady. Swinging my monstrous infantry out to the flanks. We're getting our cab into position in this forest to do a rear charge on the handgunners. Here come the zombies. Again, just to tie down these spearmen. Bats trying to tie down Karl Franz. My Vargeist do get engaged against this one group of spearmen, and I was honestly not micromanaging them enough. Look at that damage from that magic missile. Pretty good. And so they do kind of get torn up here because I forgot about them when I was moving my cab around to swing it behind. And at this point, my Graveguard are getting closer to back up my zombies along with my Crypt Ghouls. I don't know what spell's going off here. We do have Undeath Resurgent from my Necromancer, which is cast to boost our units. Graveguard is going to do pretty well against basic spearmen. Karl Franz getting into the fight, probably a good call. I think he was maybe trying to go for my Necromancer? Or maybe not. Maybe not. He's engaged with the Graveguard. My monstrous infantry on the flanks there were fighting against spears, so they kind of took a lot of damage. I still have a unit of Knights in reserve. I probably should just brawl them out immediately. But we have done a lot of damage to their handgunners here. The Demigryph Knights are coming back to try and face off against my Black Knights. There is one group that I did not get that Fate of Buna off. At this point, I send my Vampire to deal with the Light Wizard in the air. She can easily win that fight. My Black Knight's not going to be able to take on a mostly full group of Demigryph Knights with halberds. they are going to lose that fight pretty badly. But as you can see, the spear line is mostly broken. We're getting a rear charge on the remaining handgunners over here. There is still one group of spearmen holding out because they've been fighting against zombies, but the Graveguard on the flanks behind them are going to take care of them here soon-ish. Carfron's still tearing up with my Crypt Ghouls and a unit of Graveguard, but that's okay with me. I finally saved enough magic to drop another Fate Up unit on the one Demigryph unit that still had health left. And you can see them starting to drop and charge into my Graveguard. So with one Fate Up unit, that brings the Demigryph Knights on a more equal footing with my very cheap Black Knights, as well as the rest of my army. And right now I'm sending these Knights off, I believe, to try and clean up the handgunners and spearmen that are coming back from routing. These Graveguard deal with the this unit of the Demigryph Knights, only possible again because of the Fate Up Unit spell. And also, I sent in all of my heroes to fight Karl Franz. I sent my White King, I sent the Vampire. The Necromancer I did not send in because he's not a melee combatant. But the White King, to quickly go over some of the abilities that he has. Also, he has Undeath Resurgence because of my Necromancer's buff came up again. Let's pull up the infantry, or the information tab here. So, before I send him in, I popped all of his skills, which he gets charge bonus speed, increases his vigor, more charge bonus on top of that, and armor piercing damage, and then heroic killing blow, more weapon damage, and even more armor piercing. And I popped all three. I saved them all just for a fight against Karl Franz for this specific reason. So the White King can do a lot of damage to a armored hero like Karl, even mounted on his Griffin. And when he charged in, this fight turned really quickly, and Karl Franz just shattered when the White King charged in. It was a very quick fight. And that's when the rest of their army breaks. I kind of wish, like, I wish there was more features in the replays. I wish I could just go and rewind a few seconds, because I wanted to catch... I wanted to show you how quickly Karl dies. So here we go. Our Vampire just charged in from her Health Seed, and here comes our White King, and he's about to buff himself. So you can see how quick this fight goes. I want to try and... well, it doesn't matter. Just get up in here. But also, to be fair, most of his army was routed at this point, so that kind of didn't do much for his morale. And there you go, shattered. So that was, what, like 20 seconds? When my Vampire and my White King engaged in battle. And he was just sitting there for a while, just chewing on our Graveguard and our zombies. Not really taking much damage, but man. When those heroes charged in, that was GG for poor Karl. Anyway, let's watch the end of the replay here. Damage-wise, let's see. One Witch Hunter did pretty well. Luminar Kahish, 18 troops killed. But the thing is, like, that's a single target type of unit. So you want to use them to snipe heroes. They did get at least one shot off that I saw that was doing pretty well. Steam Tank only 37 kills. Not good at all. That's a lot of money kind of wasted there. For me, Necromancer didn't get any kills, but they're not supposed to. They're just sitting there to buff our units and use spells if needed. But I saved all my Winds of Magic for the Vampire, who didn't get any kills either. But she did a lot, as we saw. Dropped 3 Fate Abunas on each one of the Demigryph Knights, which just murders them. Graveguard did pretty well against the Spearmen, but that's to be expected. They were mostly fighting handgunners, so that's okay, but they're only 700 in cost. This unit got charged by, I believe, 2 Demigryph Knights towards the end, and they got kind of massacred, as to be expected. Vargas managed to get 41 kills before they got murdered because I mismicroed them and didn't pull them out of the battle against the Spearmen because I wasn't paying attention at the time, so that was almost kind of a waste. They're 1,000 gold. They could have done a lot more. Same with my Crypt Horrors. They didn't do too much either, but the only infantry that we were really fighting against was Spearmen. So, like, you know, they're not going to do super well against just all Spearmen. I did the best I could. I think I sent one group into a handgunner at some point, which is probably this one, which is why they even got any kills. The Fellbats, they're relatively cheap, and I mean, they didn't get any kills. I did tie down a Light Wizard for a while, and Karl Franz for a little bit, but I don't really know if that's worth the cost, just to tie down the Wizard. Maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. The White King, who was mostly fighting with our Black Knights, managed to get 15 kills, and then got the charge off on Karl. My ally, a very small elite army, Forsaken, murdering all those poor Spearmen. again, to be expected. The Chosen got into the fight pretty late when most of the Spearmen were already dead, but they still managed to get 47. The Chaos Knights, almost full health, still got 118. I think they were tearing up the handgunners mostly, and maybe the Pistoliers. The Chaos Bond did pretty well. The Dragon Ogres, unfortunately, got teamed upon by the Halberdiers and the Spearmen, so they didn't get too many kills, but, you know, still decent. And Karl Franz racking up 78 kills in the fight against my Graveguard and Zombies. Some Spearmen actually got some decent kills too, but those are probably against my Zombies as well, because they can't do much against Graveguard. Even hitting them with Fate of Buna, these Demigryph Knights still managed to get some kills in. Even though they got hit pretty hard with that spell. That's pretty impressive. Outriders not doing too much. Handgunners didn't do much at all. Their opening salvos were against my zombie line, which is exactly what the zombie line is there to do, is to take the range fire. Again, just because they're guns doesn't mean they're the best. Crossbows can go a long way. Just putting that out there. Just putting that out there. Karl Franz, though, doing a lot of damage, as he should. And there was a unit I wanted to go over. I think it was the Black Knights. So yeah, I took these 3 groups of Black Knights. So they're not the best, but they're only 700. And out of that 700, you get a decently armored, kind of okay leadership, pretty decent speed. The melee attack and the melee defense is kind of on par with the rest of the undead units. Like, they're not super high, but the charge bonus does make them pretty decent melee combatants. And again, for 700, I think they're worth it. They'll tear the crossbows and handgunners to pieces. Not as well against the Spearmen, but at the same time, like, these Direwolves could do that as well, and they are even cheaper. So I don't know, because like these, they're even faster too, so they can get around the lines quicker and into the weaker handgunners and crossbows. So I don't know. I really don't know. I may just rather have Direwolves. Because, like, these Black Knights are not going to hold up against a lot of other Cav. At least not Empire Cav, I guess, I should say. Because even the Empire Knights, which are the cheapest, are going to be able to crush them on the charge. Maybe if you get a charge off of the Empire Knights, it'll be different, but yeah, I don't know. Only 700, they're not too bad. Was there anything else? The Vampire, very expensive, 1200, but that's still rather cheap. 1500 if you put her on the Hellsteed. That Fate of Buna spell is just, I mean, and she has other good spells too. Like Soul Blight is pretty good for an AoE for 12-second debuff. Spirit Leech, of course, is the thing you see all the time that snipes heroes. She also comes with this ability that augments and replenishes HP of combatants. Well, herself, actually. So that's okay. She can stay in melee for a while. The White King is decently priced, I think, for what he can do. I put him on the Barded Skeletal Steed to give him some more armor. And he's not armor piercing, but he does the job. He's pretty cool. These abilities will temporarily buff him enough to the point where he can take out probably a lot of heroes, I would imagine. And yeah, I think that was all I really wanted to show off. Oh, you know what? Let's quickly look at those Forsaken that my ally brought so many of. So for 750, we get 85 armor. We get Frenzy. So Frenzy, the higher the leadership is on this unit, the more damage they're actually going to be doing. Which is a cool feature that the Vargeists actually have for the vampire counts as well. But their melee attack of 40 is really good. Their charge bonus of 34 is so good. Their weapon strength of 64 is amazing. And so you can see why those Spearmen, they got melted down. Now, if the handgunners had more time to snipe them on the approach, or maybe get a flank on them and shoot them in the sides, these Forsaken would have been chewed to pieces from the handgunners, but that unfortunately didn't work for the Empire player. So it's risky. Having a frontline of Forsaken is risky, but if they don't get shot at, you're probably going to tear up most infantry units that they come across. And they're pretty cheap for 750. I think it's a pretty solid unit. But I hope you enjoyed the battle, everybody. I will see you all next time. Take care.